alleged physical evidence, the metallic fragments. Their mission was to gather facts, assess the credibility of the witnesses, and determine if the reported objects and materials warranted further, more intensive investigation by the military. This was a serious undertaking, reflecting the nascent concern within official circles about such unexplained sightings. The investigators reportedly spent several hours interviewing Dahl and Chrisman, and also examined the samples of the slag-like material. Accounts of these interviews vary, with some suggesting the officers were initially impressed, or at least intrigued by the story and the evidence. The context of the time is important here. The UAP phenomenon was new, and protocols for investigation were still being developed. The officers were operating in uncharted territory, attempting to make sense of an extraordinary claim. The fragments were of particular interest, as they represented the only tangible link to the alleged craft. Their analysis would be crucial in determining the nature of the incident. However, the investigation took a tragic and deeply unfortunate turn. In the early hours of August 1, 1947, shortly after concluding their initial interviews and collecting the material samples, Captain Davidson and Lieutenant Brown boarded a B-25 Mitchell bomber at McCord Field to return to Hamilton Field, California. Tragically, their aircraft crashed near Kelso, Washington, not long after takeoff. Both officers, along with two crewmen, Sergeant Elmer L. Taft and Private First Class Woodrow D. Matthews, perished in the crash. This fatal event cast a dark shadow over the Maury Island case, fueling speculation and conspiracy theories for years to come. The loss of the B-25 and its occupants, including the two primary military investigators who were carrying the alleged evidence, immediately complicated the Maury Island narrative. Some saw the crash as a terrible accident, an unfortunate coincidence in an era when aviation safety was still evolving. Others, however, suspected something more sinister, suggesting that the plane might have been sabotaged to prevent the evidence or the officers' findings from reaching higher authorities. The official explanation for the crash cited engine failure, but the timing and the nature of the officers' mission led many to question this conclusion, adding another layer of mystery and suspicion to an already bizarre sequence of events. Section 5 Claims of a Hoax and the Ominous Men in Black. Following the tragic plane crash and the loss of the investigators and the initial samples of debris, the official narrative surrounding the Maury Island incident began to shift. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI, became involved, prompted by concerns from the Army Air Forces about the nature of the claims and the subsequent events. FBI documents later declassified revealed that their investigation quickly led them to suspect that the entire incident was a hoax perpetrated by Harold Dahl and Fred Chrisman. The Bureau interviewed Dahl, who reportedly recanted parts of his original story, suggesting that the materials were ordinary slag, and that the sighting was embellished or fabricated. This official dismissal labeled the Maury Island incident as a publicity stunt or a deliberate deception. The motives attributed to Dahl and Chrisman varied, from seeking notoriety to financial gain. The FBI's conclusion was that the fragments were likely furnace slag or pumice, readily available materials, and not exotic debris from an unknown aerial craft. This stance effectively closed the official investigation for many, consigning Maury Island to the category of hoaxes within UAP history. However, Chrisman, unlike Dahl, largely stuck to his version of events, maintaining the reality of the sighting and the unusual nature of the materials for many years, which kept the debate alive among ufologists. The Maury Island incident is also notable for its early, if not definitive, introduction of the Men in Black phenomenon into UAP folklore. Harold Dahl claimed that shortly after his sighting, but before he had widely publicized it, he was approached by a mysterious man dressed in a dark suit. This individual, Dahl alleged, drove a black 1947 Buick sedan and seemed to know intimate details about Dahl's sighting, details Dahl had not yet shared publicly. The man reportedly warned Dahl not to speak further about his experience, implying that negative consequences would follow if he did. This encounter predates most widely known MIB reports. This alleged visit by a man in black added a chilling dimension to Dahl's account. It suggested a concerted effort by unknown entities to suppress information about UAP encounters. While the veracity of Dahl's MIB claim is as debated as the rest of his story, its impact on UAP culture was profound. It established a trope of mysterious, intimidating figures who silence witnesses, a theme that would become increasingly prevalent in ufology in the decades that followed. Whether a genuine experience, an embellishment, or a complete fabrication, Dahl's description of this ominous visitor contributed significantly to the darker, more conspiratorial aspects of the UAP narrative. Section 6. The Enduring Shadow, Maury Island's Legacy in Ufology. The Maury Island Incident, despite being officially labeled a hoax by the FBI in 1947, has cast a long and enduring shadow over the landscape of UAP studies and popular culture. Its complex tapestry of alleged sightings, physical evidence, government investigation, tragic deaths, and claims of intimidation established many of the core elements that would define the UAP mystery for generations. Even if one accepts the hoax explanation, the incident's historical significance lies in how it shaped early public and official perceptions of unidentified aerial phenomena. It served as an early, dramatic example of how such reports could quickly escalate and capture national attention, involving multiple branches of government. One of the most significant legacies of Maury Island is its contribution to the Men in Black mythology. Harold Dahl's account of being visited by a mysterious, suit-clad individual who warned him into silence was one of the earliest such stories to gain traction. This narrative element resonated deeply within ufology, tapping into fears of government cover-ups or unknown forces seeking to control information about UAP. The MIB archetype, whether rooted in real experiences of witness intimidation or purely a product of folklore, became a powerful symbol of the perceived secrecy and potential danger associated with UAP sightings, a theme that continues to appear in contemporary discussions. Furthermore, the tragic deaths of Captain Davidson and Lieutenant Brown, the military investigators, remain a somber and controversial aspect of the Maury Island story. While officially attributed to engine failure, the timing of the B-25 crash, occurring as they were transporting alleged UAP evidence, fueled persistent speculation about foul play. This element added a layer of genuine tragedy and high stakes to the incident, distinguishing it from many other early UAP reports. It underscored the potential dangers, real or perceived, associated with investigating these phenomena, and contributed to the narrative that powerful interests might be willing to go to extreme lengths to suppress UAP information. In conclusion, the Maury Island Incident of June 1947 serves as a foundational case study in the annals of ufology. It occurred at the very dawn of the modern UAP era, predating even the term flying saucer becoming a household name. The story's components, the detailed sighting, the alleged physical debris, the involvement of military intelligence, the fatal crash, the claims of a hoax, and the appearance of the man in black have become archetypal. Whether fact, fiction, or a complex mixture of both, Maury Island's impact on how we discuss, investigate, and imagine UAP encounters is undeniable, making it a critical reference point for understanding the historical development and cultural resonance of this enduring mystery.